we're digging out. The Great Northern Sexcast today. We're just talking about the snow.
Yeah, the northern was certainly a big part of this past few days in Minnesota. Yeah. But I was looking, and we haven't had a 10-inch snowfall in the Twin Cities since December 12th of 2012. Yeah. So the collective forgetting of how to function in the snow by just enough people to mess it up for those who know how to drive in the snow was frustrating. And they didn't. The storm moved north later than they could get forecast out. I mean, they had an idea it might, and then you're going through, and then there's a lot of finger pointing, and you don't want to close schools because that's, you have to arrange for our daycare and how are kids going to get fed. I mean, I get all those things, and sometimes you just mess up.
Yeah.
And it was pretty tough around here. But then again, we're 2 days later and the main roads are cleared and St. Paul's cleared, I think. Minneapolis has one side left to go and there's no emergency.
Yeah.
But it was quite an ordeal.
It was. And I mean, a lot of us, I just stayed home, and a lot of people that I work with in business just all, worked from home. And I was so glad that we can all do that because, why put yourself in line to end up in the ditch or to have somebody else screw up and hit you? It's just so nice to not have to go.
And, all that. Well, 40 years ago, we wouldn't have closed the stores. Well, 40 years ago, maybe we were idiots. I don't, just because something used to be done doesn't mean it's the way that it has to be done now. It's, it's sort of frustrating or maybe something the way it used to be done, change for change's sake doesn't have to happen too. You got to look at each thing. You know what I mean? But God, it drives me, whenever I hear that, I said, do I want kids waiting out at the bus stop for 2 hours for a bus that's stuck down a hill? No,
not really.
No. And besides, 40 years ago, there was probably a third fewer cars on the road too?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So
sure. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm excited. We haven't done this in a while, and we've got a quiz that we can post on the Great Northern Sexcast page, and it's going to reveal how high your libido is. Okay. And it's a test that you can go. We'll post the link where you can click on it. So it's like, do you need to get your, do you need a kickstart? Are you doing fine, or are you, maybe needing to mitigate a little bit? Here are a couple of the questions,
okay.
And I'll give you a couple sample answers. But ideally, I feel like having sex every day, several times a week, once every 2 weeks or so, once a month or less. That was an interesting question. It seems boring and dull, but it's like, ask yourself really, do you sit there, how many times a month do you sit there and go, God, I really want to have sex? Or is it just when it's like, oh, there might be an opportunity to have sex, and that's when you think about it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
when you're a parent, you think, you got kids running around, if you find yourself with the opportunity, we have time. You go through there, which is completely different than the somehow something triggers your brain, and so there's that needs to be broken down into two questions. I
know, right?
Yeah. When you have the opportunity, do you think about sex, or how many times you just generally think about sex? Because these are very different things.
I think so too. That was what I thought when I read that first one, and I thought, gosh, this is seemingly so mundane, but really it's quite a lot more complicated. So then they ask other questions like, when I feel stressed, my libido, and it gives you a choice of what happens to that. Asks about your fantasies, relationship with your partner, orgasms, whether or not they're easy, things like that, and all of that. And so then if it's a range, I'm not going to tell you how the scoring works because I don't want to wreck it if people go to try to take it. But they talk about, well, you either fluctuate, you flatline, or you don't have one, or you're just doing fine. And according to this quiz, you really don't. There is no too much according to this particular quiz. But take it and kind of see.
Well, there's too much if your partner is, depending on how you're, what's going through there.
Yep.
You have to be close. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't, look at a Dear Abby column or a Dan Savage column or an Ask Natalie or Amy or whatever, Carolyn Hacks, any of these things without finding a question at least a couple times a week about mismatched libidos.
Yeah. No, that's true. And I guess the next article I'd like to see is how do you a line? You know, what's the, I mean, obviously it comes down to some sort of compromise, but at what point is there too much compromise to where you're incompatible? I think becomes the question.
Okay, I'm going to adjust my glasses, which are sitting on the table next to me.
Okay, she's over there like massaging her head.
Yeah, I'm like my glasses. It's like I have phantom glasses on the top of my head.
Okay, is that what that is?
Yes, I'm like.
I thought your head itched. Okay,
no, yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. This just slays me for so many reasons. You know, I'm a dog freak. I've got two. I love anything pet related, whatever. So this woman, a flight attendant off duty, had her dog out and was playing fetch with them, tossing stuff. And she threw the toy, but he came back with a dildo. So, you know, like into the ravine. And she's like, oh my God. So, of course, what does she do? She takes a picture and puts it on Twitter. Because why wouldn't you? And tweeted, honestly, could not make it up. My fucking dog found a fucking dildo while we were on a walk and wouldn't leave it alone. I'm going to be sick. But what was cracking her up were like there were some construction guys and they're like, hey, honey, we think you lost something. Now, I don't think that's as obnoxious as catcalling. Like, that's just funny shit.
Yeah. If the dog's if the dog is, if you're walking the dog and it's got a dildo in its mouth, you're a target. There's gonna be questions.
Yeah,
and there's gonna be responses. And I'm like, yeah.
She didn't want to touch it to take it away.
No, you don't have any gloves. Yeah, I mean it's not like
And so she said, you know, respond with regard to her tweet. She's like, it was so embarrassing how many people thought it was mine. You know, but how often do you encounter them? Unless you're in Portland, you know, hanging around somewhere.
I wonder if some of those are still hanging up there. I'm assuming by now most of them probably.
Once again, who's going to take them down?
Yeah.
Unless
I'm saying they're doing line work. Yeah, I mean they're
Yeah. Okay. This is funny stuff. Bad dates. So there's a compilation. Jimmy Fallon started. He put out there what was your worst date ever, so this prompted some online stuff, and I've got a collection of a few really good ones. So one girl said, "Well, I just started seeing a guy who was a funeral director, picked me up with a body in the car, and said we just need to make a quick stop at my office."
No. If you've been dating someone that is a funeral director or something like that for a while, but I don't think that happens. I'm going to go no dead bodies before 3-4 months. What do you think?
That's a good threshold.
I don't know. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Okay. Colleen, I think that's completely fair. Another girl said that she was on a date, and the guy put his phone down on the table and it was covered in tape. And she goes, "What happened?" And it wasn't because his screen was shattered or anything practical like that. It's because the government is always listening.
Oh, that's when my phone. Oh my God, I forgot something, and you run away.
Right, quickly.
Unless you met on Conspiracy or Us dating site.
Yeah.
Then it's like, woo!
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's good. That's a good point. A girl, actually this is a guy. He went on a date with a chick and she covered her pizza in garlic powder so that she wouldn't kiss her later. He wouldn't kiss her later. How gross is that? That's just weird. And then one woman claims that she gave the guy she went on a date with some money to go pick up beer, and he came back with scratch cards, and then they won, and he took off and went to a strip club. So, good to know then versus later.
I once had someone greet me at the door nude.
What?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Oh. And how have I never heard this story?
Oh, because it's never, you got to save, stuff.
Right
you can't just blurt it all out in the first 3 years. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I just went, oh, that's nice. I'm leaving now. I mean, the thing is, to see something like that, I go, and like I said, that I think that's one of the things a long time ago when I realized I don't react to things the way that other people do.
No.
I just went, well, this person's a moron. I didn't think it was I said.
Did you know this person before?
Yeah. They had been drinking. They made it, and I'm not, I wasn't angry at him or angry. I didn't feel like I had been assaulted. I just said, well, this person made a dumb choice right here. But I didn't base everything in the future off of it, and it didn't negate the stuff in the past. It was a dumb thing, and it didn't. And in the course of the past 30 years that I've known this person, as far as I know, has not done anything else dumb. It just had maybe something continued, but I just went, oh, I don't think so. But what was really awesome about it is that I went and met up with some other folks, and that's where 30-some years ago now, I met up with the guy I'm now seeing,
Yeah.
I knew of him, but it just, that's sort of the start of the path. So,
wow.
But it was just funny. I'm like, no.
No, I'm not going to do this. No. I don't blame you.
Totally
Smart.
correct. Totally.
Kept you cool?
Yeah.
Nicely done.
It wasn't, it wasn't about, I was like, that doesn't concern me. Bye.
Okay. So golfsupport.com wanted to know what sport got the most sexual interest on dating sites if it was featured in your profile. Okay.
Well, I think I'm sure it was sort of leading. If you're on a golf, it wasn't like
Golf didn't win.
Golf did not win.
No.
Okay.
You know what did?
Baseball.
Rugby. Rugby. That is a smash mouth sport.
Oh, I know. I have watched the rugby. When I used to have regular cable, I'd be flipping around and it would show up on one of the obscure ESPN channels, and I just look at it and I'm like, how are they not? I mean, they looked. They're like. It was
spit it out.
It was like so much. It's like they were having a ton of fun, but they looked in pain.
Oh yeah.
And then they were hot, and I'm like, am I supposed to be this? I didn't understand the game, but I did sort of like watching the guys, and I'm like, it was just very confusing.
Well, I have a quick rugby story before we dive into this. So when I was in high school, my next door neighbor, very handsome, was a rugby player, and then. Ironically, he played in the same league as one of our high school football coaches, who I was one of my instructors for PE or something. Their teams played one night and both ended up at the same pub after the game, got in a fight, and all ended up getting like arrested. So my neighbor and I found out about it from my neighbor, and I tortured my teacher with that for the last 2 years of high school. I'm like, nicely done. Ooh, oh, hall pass. Oh, you're, like, I'm going to write you up. I'm going to send you the, it was just so fun. But yeah, it was like they literally trashed a Newport Beach bar.
But it is sort of fun watching. Is it the New Zealand Blacks or something that does the haka or something before their rugby match or something like that? That whole thing is just like, that's just. I'm like, am I scared? Am I aroused? Am I turned on? Am I freaked out? It's like every emotion. It's really fun.
I love it. I love it. So what this survey came up with that they put people out there on dating sites, and a guy who had no mention of sport in his bio had an average of 57 people interested, compared to guys that did mention sports or had a sporty profile, if you will, had 94.2 interests there. So non-sporty profile for women got 88 and 98.4 for sporty women. So it was less, it didn't, the spread wasn't as big. But rugby was number one. Number two, weightlifters. Golf, surprisingly to me, came in at third. Swimmers, fourth, and boxers, fifth. And soccer didn't make it. It was out of the top. Well, it was out of the top five. It came ahead of dancers, gymnasts, and horseback riders.
Well, the thing is that a soccer player is going to have stamina.
Oh my God!
They're running for 90 freaking minutes unless someone fakes an injury.
Yeah.
It's 90, right? Yeah, I think I got that right.
Sport is completely underappreciated on a professional level in the U.S.
It's not something. I'm honestly, I enjoy a baseball game. You sit down. It involves beer and bratwurst, so that might be why I enjoy a baseball game. And there's no end point, so you can sort of relax. You can decide to go and listen to the rest of it on the radio on the way home.
No pressure,
no
right?
pressure. There's no, it's beer, bratwurst, and no pressure.
Yeah.
What's not to love about this? And then if you feel like it, mini donuts.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
Well, God, at the Twins Stadium, I mean, you can get the variety. I mean, you can probably get sushi there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and there's the garden cooperative, the salads that the kids make. Oh, that's so tasty. I don't think they're remodeling the Target Center where it's all there's a bottleneck pinch point there between the two main gates, and so they're remodeling all that, and that's where the salad place used to be. But Kramarsik's is getting like instead of a cart, they're getting a built-in booth thing.
As well they should.
Oh my God, I love Kramarsik's.
Oh, and for those of you non-Northerners, tell them what Kramarsik's is.
It is a longtime Northeast Minneapolis institution. They have a restaurant, but what they're known for are their sausages and their sort of like East European meats.
Are they Polish or Czech? I can never remember.
It leans Polish.
Okay,
but they have. They have all the sausages from Romanian to bratwurst to Polish to they have andouille. They have the Portuguese linguiça. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I know. I mean, there is nothing that isn't absolutely lovely from this meat place, and it's on Hennepin Avenue, Northeast Minneapolis. I think they may even have a website. I'm telling you, you want some traditional old world smoked and fresh sausages and meats, this is where you got to go.
Yep. And so that was one thing that was so exciting when the Minnesota Twins got their new very cool ballpark, Target Field, is that they really did outdid any other stadium at that time that I had ever been to with the variety of cuisine. And just outstanding. So sorry we diverted, but hey, it's north.
Yeah, and it's cold out. So honestly, like sausage and bratwurst and mashed potatoes, maybe cabbage rolls. See, that's the German side of me is all going. Oh, that sounds really good.
God, you know what? Now I want to go there.
I made schnitzel over the weekend. So pork schnitzel. Yeah, beat the crap out of some pork tenderloins. And
nice.
Oh God, it was so yummy.
I have to tell you, Colleen, I was a little disappointed. I was thinking 5 ways to take control in the bedroom according to a professional dominatrix. I was like, oh, bring it on. Okay, talk to your partner. Number 1, boo. Boring. But yeah, it's essential to making the bedroom a safe place. Mine wasn't dangerous in the first place, but okay. 2, open-minded. Okay, not exactly insightful. But she talks about things that you're trying. Like if you're trying something new. She said, be sure you give yourself some time because the longer you do it, the less weird it all feels. Okay. Try using a blindfold. Gee, that came out of left field. 4, be confident. Now this one, the sexier you feel, the easier it'll be to command power in the bedroom. I think that's pretty universal.
Does it mention anything about the right Forbes magazine?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Nope. But she does say, do everything you can to make yourself feel confident beforehand and keep it varied. And, to her credit, she said BDSM isn't all about just physicality. She's like, some people like to get rough between the sheets, but dirty talk, role playing and all of that. It's not all about pain. And she said, it's too bad that most people think it's just about like torture or.
Yeah, they combine the fact that the bondage and dominant, B&D got hooked up to the more painful stuff of the S&M. I mean, they were separate worlds. I mean, they in the Venn diagram they touch, but they're not completely overlapping.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting art. Check it out, see what you think. I was, like I said, I expected more, but we'll put it up on the site. Okay. This will give everybody the impetus to take a little trip down the mental memory lane. Okay. I love the title of this article. Why is his penis purple? Women revealing their first thoughts about seeing partner naked. Now, just so you don't have to wait for this, the reason this guy's penis is purple, he responds, is because my bedroom is always colder than the rest of the house, and I was always nervous, and it always made my dick turn purple. I didn't have a disease. So this was not, something that she needed to be careful about. But most women gave really good reviews, regardless of what their guys, how big, small, fat, in shape they were. They said that they were excited the first time that they saw. And they all said pretty much the same thing, that they were too wrapped up in the moment to like really be dissecting them, which is kind of good. And she was, like a lot of people, this one girl said, I love it all. I love dad bods, pudgy stomachs, everything in between. Honestly, in the moment I'm about to have sex with you, I'm just excited to have sex with you.
I get that because it was several years, when you're in a large group of theater people, a lot of times you will date and sleep with people that your friends have over various times over the years, not
Sure.
the same time and stuff like that. And I will distinctly remember a conversation where a group of women were saying that they were having too much fun, that it wasn't until after or much later in the evening or even afterwards, and then one person hadn't even noticed at all that someone was uncircumcised. Because they were just having way too much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was hilarious. We were just like, oh my God. We were just busting a gut. We were like things that you didn't notice until like a couple times in. They're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
You're really sort of wrapped up in the moment.
Exactly. Which I don't think is a bad
No.
thing.
No.
I love this one from this gal. My current boyfriend is drop dead sexy. He's got chicken legs, a beer gut, balding, but he's hot and I love every inch of his body. That's all I think about is the way I feel with him when he's naked, which I thought was super sweet.
Oh, naked cuddling.
Yeah.
Well, and then of course, which is different from like naked sleeping, because if two people are ovens, you need some space. Whatever you do. But yeah, naked time is great.
Yeah, naked time rocks. So sex classes are on the rise. People are seeking out erotic classes for all sorts of different things, from various kinky trends to just really filling in knowledge gaps, things that they were never taught about, that they're like, okay, I'm X age now and I really want to like master X, Y, and Z, have more orgasms, enjoy my sex life more. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, you can Google or YouTube almost anything, but once again, if you're going someplace and you can like really ask a question of someone, and I think that's why like Ducky Doolittle or Dr. Marky Twist and some of the folks that we talked to, when she sat at the tables, people just, they want. There's a lot of information out there, but the one-on-one communication is just still important.
Absolutely. And it is kind of cool that they are taking sex therapy and sex education at the college level, at least, way more seriously. And that, like our friend of the show, Dr. Marky Twist, like you just mentioned, she is considered a legitimate researcher. She's on loan to the UNLV from University of Wisconsin Stout right now. And I think it's great. I think it bodes well for the future of happiness. Don't you?
Yeah, because you just, if you can, you have a decent sex life or decent personal life, let's put it that way, and a lot of things going on, then you can like go out in the world and not be as stressed.
Yeah.
Little things. I've always thought that, there's a lot of stuff that, should be mandatory, but to some extent, massages. Think about it.
Yeah.
Just that physical touch and everyone has and stuff like that. I think the only person that would probably disagree with me is Vice President Pence. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, because you need that. The human touch and stuff like that. You just feel better.
Yeah, no. Okay, you mentioned Pence, and I don't know why this popped into my head, but I am a lifelong news junkie because I used to be a reporter, and this is from a few months ago. But he was in an interview, and I don't know how it came up, but he said that he has never in his political life been in a room. Not in his political life since he has been married. Been in a room with another woman alone unless his wife was there. So he would either have another aide or whatever for the very reason so that nobody could accuse him of. He always had a witness. And I just remembered that when you said.
I know that's
and there's a couple other people that have come up and said that they adopted that policy once they got to a certain point in their careers, which quite honestly is not really stupid.
But you just leave a door open or something. It's frustrating that people go that it needs to be at that point. There's a lot of stuff going on, but
I think what, I like the idea. I like the idea because we talked about this last week, and as this is going to be messy for a super long time, it's going to be a lot harder for people to deny things or people to make false accusations if there's a third person.
Whatever. There's always multiple people in a space, and it helps both sides, and there are sides going through there, but there was a lot of misogyny involved in that too. Like, we're just going through there, like, and there was lots of religious background and stuff like that. Versus there was a lot packed into what he said, and so I mean, on the surface it looks good. Then you dig a little bit, and you're just like, oh, I get it, but would there be another way of doing this? I don't just it's.
I think the same idea works for women though too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you know. Not that women get accused at anywhere near the rate, but I think for women.
But think about it. If a woman was doing their job but wasn't able to do their job because there was no one else to be in the room with him, and I'm not
saying to do your job, but
I'm just saying that makes it difficult because that way he would allow. I mean, he didn't say I will never have just me and one other person in a room. It was me and another woman.
Yeah.
I mean, if he would have said, so that I can never be accused of bribes or harassment or anything like that, at a certain point, there will always be three or more people in a room. That's fine. But if it's only women.
Yeah. Well, he was responding specifically to had he ever been accused. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's entirely, what he meant just to say that. But I mean, it's not a bad policy with the track record that our politicians have.
Mm-hmm. No,
I just think because I'm I'm tired of it distracting from the work that they're supposed to be doing. Quite honestly, I really am. I'm tired of all of it. I'm tired of politicians too. But I just wish that this could get to a point where I'm incensed that we had a slush fund for hush money at the federal level. Like, are you kidding me? And that they made accusers go through therapy before their claim could even be considered. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, it's like they have so much work to do there. And I don't know. I always get excited about seemingly small and simple solutions, Colleen. Didn't think it through. I don't really want to talk about this, but I'm going to mention it. Sex positions for men with small penises. These come out. Some of them always overlap. But the thing that cracks me up is every time we have one of these stories, the average size of a penis is different. Seriously, it's like, does winter make a difference? I don't know.
Well, isn't it? I mean, every time it's somewhere between like 5 and 6, right? Yeah, what do they say here?
5.2 inches in length and 4.6 inches in circumference. Now, to me, that seems like it's like almost as wide as it is long, which I haven't noticed that. Yeah. No way. That just doesn't seem right to me.
I might have to go back to our geometry and figure out what's going through.
I don't know how to figure out that equation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my daughter was, it's finals, and so she was doing some physics, and my guy came over because he's good at math and physics. I can help her in other stuff, but I can't help her in that. And they were using all these terms, and she's like, hey, you want to learn this? And I paused for a moment, and I went, I probably should know it, but do I want to learn it? No. And I said, no, you will never need to know this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, there are times, depending on where you're going, but you in your life right now, you don't need to know this.
Here is a question though. Is she taking physics? Is it one of the electives just to fill the categories to get all of her credits for high school, or does she have an interest in something that she may need it for?
She really is interested in environmental science, biology, certain things like that. And so you need some of these courses you're going through there.
Does she have a good brain for it?
Yeah, she to some extent she did well in her practice ACT, better on the science stuff, okay. but she has to work at it. I mean, some people just look at it and go, and just get it.
Yeah.
I mean, and other needs a little bit of help, and I can't help her with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can look at she hands me something in her English class or her world history class. It takes me about 15 minutes to read 2 chapters. It's got to be the book. I can't read it online, but and I can look at it and go, okay, what do you need help with? I mean, I can do that in seconds, but I cannot. Now, mind you, if it's theory in physics or it's something like that, I can read it and go, oh, yeah, I think it's this. But as soon as you get to the math, I had a very difficult time with that.
Yeah. I thought it was really funny because I'm definitely more inclined toward the writing and language side of things. But and I guess this is common. People that aren't normally good or mathematically talented, which I am not, I killed it in geometry. Loved it, killed it, because you can argue. There's all these theorems, and so I could make a case for something, and that's how my brain works. But algebra 2, I was a disaster, and everybody that was good in algebra sucked in geometry.
No, I think if I would have had the proper teachers. I had or someone's going through there. I think I could have gotten it, but I got from 4th grade on. I had a problem in math, and no one really noticed. I showed up, I did the work, I didn't do well. You got passed.
Yeah.
And if someone at any point when I was younger had said, "Hey, I think she needs more help," because hell, no kid's going to ask. I shouldn't say no kids. Most kids won't ask.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't.
Well, we grew up when it was always just that sexist premise that girls weren't as good at math as boys. Like that was that was not like an obnoxious thing to say back in the day.
Yeah.
That was
as long as I showed up and I passed.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've got to figure out, maybe I should get out the old geometry and see if Carl will hold still for a couple minutes for me later. I need to prove something.
Yes,
I need to myth bust. It might involve a blowjob if you hold still. Okay. I love this. 2 Norwegian female doctors want to educate people about women about their vaginas. So they wrote their new book, The Wonder Down Under. And it's pretty cool. She said, we found stuff that was written by doctors that was incorrect. Probably male doctors, I'm guessing.
Well, it's the parts are hard to look at. You can't. There's you didn't mirror it, even that. You don't. It's much easier to observe a penis and testicles.
Yeah.
Than it is all the parts that are involved in the female reproductive and excretory area down there. There's lots of folds and different names and their parts and, figuring all that out.
Yeah.
It's not particularly easy. And sometimes the drawings are just so generic. You're like, what is that?
Yeah. No, it is. They just a couple highlights. They talk about the hymen, and they're like, okay, this is not, the end all be all as to whether or not you're pure. They talk about how it's a seal that is formed in female embryos that dissolves before birth, leaving that ring there. And she said, if somebody does have something that looks like an actual seal when she's grown up, that's a medical problem. Then they talk about the clitoris not being a little knob; it's wishbone shaped, and but they go on. And then the last one, I was like, really interesting. She said, in biology classes, teachers usually talk about the fact that the egg waits to be fertilized while millions of sperm are competing. But they said, no, actually, the egg itself competes with other eggs within the ovaries to win the first prize, to get to even be ovulated. So I never thought about eggs. We always thought of them as little passive, but it's like, nope, I'm out.
Maybe that's why my left ovary always felt like someone was stabbing it with a fork and twisting. I was having a little egg fight on that side.
Yeah, highly competitive.
Oh my God.
More competitive than your right side, clearly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting to me, though.
Okay, I'm having such a little thing about like little eggs in the ovary just sort of beating the crap out of each other trying to get to the. Yeah.
Well, if they don't have arms, like
I know what I'm saying. But you're anthropomorphic. Yes. Yeah, but you just like no. I'm having this, bad sort of 1950s turning into the 60s animation is happening in my left ovary.
It's like a mosh pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I'm envisioning.
That's what I'm thinking. So, okay, this. I'm sorry. It's okay. A psychotherapist wants to explain the danger of faking orgasms. Okay. And basically the whole premise, the article will post it for you, but she's basically saying, look, if you keep them believing that it works, nothing's ever going to change.
Oh yeah.
So, but there's a lot more to it. And she's got some more, a little more detail than that, but I'm like, really? I hadn't thought of that.
Well, sometimes you got to be the queen of the obvious.
Yeah.
Going through there.
Yeah. So did you read the article about myth communication? It's not that they don't understand, they just don't like the answer. Did you read the article?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did read that.
Megan found this and sent it over the weekend. Colleen, why don't you go ahead and kind of lay this out? It's pretty interesting.
Okay, I read it a few days ago. Lots of stuff going on. What it pretty much is talking about is that, women and other, men, people do say no.
Yes.
But we have, to anything. But we have but it gets couched. It's not an actual no. So we try and soften it and we say different things. And since they don't hear no, then the other side has been socialized to keep pushing. And it's just battle back and forth because no. It's hard to say no for a lot of reasons. One, it can be dangerous. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't think you're going to be believed. We've been told to play nice.
Yep.
And it's going through there. And so they're hearing it, but they're thinking because of the way that we've had centuries of, I sort of read it, women have been told they're not supposed to like sex, so they're supposed to say no first. And then it's the guy's job to push. And there's so much involved in it. And it was when I went through this, I'm like, okay, I've actually used that, sentence before. As I've told people things, especially like when you're talking to your parents, they just don't like my answer.
Yeah, yeah.
When I told them, I said, I'm done. I'm not going to take any more crap about wearing makeup, or something.
Yeah.
And it's not you just think the equation. And one of the things that they're looking for, and another part of the article was the fact that the reason they push is that they're looking for someone that they can turn, that will say yes.
Yeah.
And it's going through there. It's an opening about it was really fascinating for people to read, so you could see which side of the equation you were on here.
Yeah. There's a lot of research links inserted. This is taken from a very interesting blog post, and they literally have some sociological research that is cited behind this. But basically, it's in the sexual. It has to do with sexual manipulation and what leads to rape and the culture of well, she didn't say no, but he makes a case in here that we know that somebody means no, even if they don't say it specifically, in addition to a host of other things. It's a pretty academic piece, actually. So we're going to post this for you, but check it out and look at all the people that have studied this. That's pretty interesting. So thanks to Megan for that. And if you are somebody who's, you say this all the time, Colleen, we've got to, yes, we need to teach girls how to defend themselves and not be raped, but we also have to teach boys not to rape. This would be a great thing for parents of boys to look at. Yeah. Don't you think?
Yeah, because you can see to back off to now, to back off, and it's been tough too because we've created a lot of different ways for hookups. And you're going through there and created a lot of different ways for the expectations of sex. And taking a step back, to get to, unless you're, they haven't made up a site that, it's almost like they said, I'm going to say yes.com is a new app or something, but it's not. If you're going to, maybe they need that so you know what you're getting into. And then even so, you get to say no. And it just...
Yeah. Yeah. I am really kind of excited about this next story.
Oh, I thought this was amazing.
I love this. This is a type of celebrity activism that I can get excited about. So model Chrissy Teigen and a couple other actors, Michael Schur and Kristen Bell, and I love Kristen Bell. I love Kristen Bell. Like, she is so cute. And the commercials with her husband that they do for LG crack me completely up. I digress. So what they're offering to do is pay the fine to allow a gymnast to speak at the sentencing hearing of the team doctor who sexually abused her. So this is that big, high-profile case against his last name is Nasser.
Yeah, because she had a gag order. She took a settlement because she felt that she was forced to take a settlement, and then you're not allowed to speak because then she'd lose a big portion of the settlement. And all these folks said, go ahead, speak. We'll pay the damn fine.
Yeah, Larry Nasser is his name, and you've seen the story.
It's horrific.
Around 90 victims. And
abusing young girls when their parents are in the room. So abusing the parents too, and just because, you're supposed to be able to. You have to have some sort of trust, and you just completely abused it. It's just, and part of me was like, okay, I can't read anymore, and then I realized, no. I need to look at this because I need to know, I need to have knowledge in case I see something, that what's going through there.
Yeah.
And it's just, I still don't understand why they haven't disbanded U.S. Gymnast Association and created a new organization, or everyone's resigned and they get new people up there. I mean, put these retired gymnasts in that position. Yeah. Have them run it. Yeah. Maybe bring. There's got to be. You have to be able to get these 90 women together, and maybe have them, and especially in this particular case, say, let's vote on 3 of us, and then we'll create a search committee for other folks. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that runs. I'm not. But for the folks that are in charge of USA Gymnastics to still be in charge is wrong. I mean, and I understand that you need to have that governing body so that you can compete and do a couple of other things. But there's no way that there can't be someone out there that they can just transfer power. I don't know. Like I said, it's just none of those folks should be in power.
Well, I have a friend who is a retired gymnast. In fact, she taught at Stout as well. She was an instructor, and she wasn't even sexually abused, but she was so mentally scarred from what these girls, the body shaming that I think that sport is inherently fucked up from the get-go. The fact that only, completely, they deprive them, they have to be so thin, just the whole thing is just really, so I don't know about that. I'm not saying kill the sport. If people want to do it, that's fine, but they got to get the predators out of, or the people that look the other way at predatory behavior, out of power. I couldn't agree. So Dr. Markey talks about digisexuality. I love this one.
Okay.
Text appeal. Virtual. Okay. They're saying that people are not going to leave their bedrooms once virtual reality porn goes mainstream. So, yeah. So
it's already mainstream. It's fine. I mean, then they'll create something else. And honestly, if those folks aren't leaving their bedrooms, then that's just better for the rest of us. There'll be less traffic on the road.
Oh my God. Okay. I didn't think of it that way. Yeah. So, but they're the quote unquote experts are warning that this could lead to a spike in sexual addiction. I don't know. What do you think? Nope. Colleen?
I know. Well, I mean, honestly, I suppose anything could. I would say that probably since I got like Netflix and Hulu, that I probably spend more time on my phone, or my computer, than I used to. But I used to just spend it in front of the TV. So it's just not, not switching.
So it's just a new way to.
It's just a new way
to obsess. Okay.
You used to masturbate by looking at a magazine. Now you've got goggles.
We just have so many more options these days.
So, yes.
Have you heard of thirst trapping?
No, I have to admit, I almost Googled. I had some time this morning, and I went, no. This is one I need to be. I need to be surprised.
Okay. Has nothing to do with hydration. Okay.
Okay.
So, it's a social media trend. That basically is described as it's when you post a provocative picture of yourself online in hopes of garnering either attention from one person or all of your followers. So sexy selfies and things like that. And the phenomenon is that somebody's having an ugly day and they're looking for an ego boost.
How in the world do you get thirst trapping out of that?
Unclear. Because basically I would classify this as massive approval seeking. Maybe, yeah. I'd have to look into who coined that, because there are a lot. We posted a picture. It's getting our most traction ever on Facebook of the snow yesterday. Megan took a 10-inch dick or 12-inch dick and put it in the snow upside down. Sweet.
And we said, it looks like we got about 9 inches at the office. It's been going insane. We've been having so much fun with it. I actually moved it over to the Great Northern Sexcast Facebook page, and I put it on my own page, and my friends are dying. My mother saw it. She actually typed OMG. So yesterday I'm at a doctor's appointment, doing this, and it's snowy out here. Folks are running late. I waited 3 months for this appointment because it was a new doctor. And I said, I can wait another 45 minutes for the extra lab techs to come in, blah, blah. So I'm going through my phone, doing emails, and I see this picture, and I snort coffee on my phone.
Why wouldn't you?
And then later on that evening, as I'm going through my phone, sort of a big sort of boss day yesterday. I was a little mushy at the end of the day, had a hard time turning the brain off. I get up, I go make a cup of tea, I sit down, I flip through my phone, and my mom finally saw the picture. She types OMG, and I snort tea all over my phone.
Yeah. That is...
It was just the cutest thing ever. I would just,
Get Megan in here again. I mean, she is so wicked funny. So funny.
Yeah, I'll just go through there. See, now we moved to Wednesdays. It's the day that they bring merchandise out. So
okay, we got to get Miss Megan in.
So maybe one of these days when we have a day we have to switch, I'll have to
we'll get her in here because I miss her crazy wit. But I did not see that. That didn't come up in my feed.
Yeah, no. Yeah, my personal page or it's on. I
put it on our
shared
DNS
over there.
page. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, normally we get a few likes. It was shared a whole bunch of times. Like close to 2,000 people saw it. People were just giggling. My page, my friends were. They're like, I had to look at that for a second. It was absurd. It was so funny because it was just hilarious and it was just fun. I'm like, and I have to admit it was nice because with the way that Facebook is set up and other places are set up, I can't boost posts. They won't let me. People have to like it. It doesn't get seen as much because I can't do that because it's sort of a pay for play thing, but they won't let me pay. So
that's just so weird.
So when I can get for my small amount, of the folks like that to have it shared like that, it was nice. We got more. Got more likes for the page, got her name out there. It was just nice to run her, it all day long. We're like, oh, look at that. And I know some people get thrilled when they get tens of thousands of stuff, but we were just perfectly happy with what we got yesterday because we know because of our situation, it's hard to get our name in front. Yeah, our name in front of folks. But it was funnier than hell, though. Looks like we got about 9.
That's awesome.
And it's upside down. So you're seeing the suction cup and that. You have to look at it for a second. It's not graphic. She put it head down in the stove. It was hilarious.
It's like we got about
I just snorted coffee all over.
Well, on that note, the good news is we're almost to the end of January here in the Great Northern Tundra. And next up, Valentine's Day. And then, once February ends, I call it denial time because I purposely stop wearing coats and I'm like, but winter's over, because I declare it over,
Oh, that is definitely a high thing of denial. I have to wait until at least April. Okay, I don't move my snow shovels from my front and back door until May 1st.
Wow. Because
I'm not angering. And I don't even believe in this shit, but I'm still not angering any snow gods or goddesses. There is no removing of snow shovels until May 1st. I just don't. They just stay. Stay by each door. That's it. Not going anywhere. You never take the snow brush out of your car, ever.
No, that stays in the car.
No, that stays there. There were just certain things. No.
Yeah. No, well, I'm glad you didn't have any weather mishaps. Be safe out there. And good time of the year to snuggle up and have sex, right?
Oh, definitely.
July, not so much.
No.